Okay. Okay, so today we will be discussing 6.5 and 6.6. The chapter is Dhyana Yoga, and so 6.5. Udharet atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmeva hi atmano bandhu atmeva ribur atmanaha. One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. And the 6.6 is Bandhur Atmanas Bandhur Atma Atmanastasya Yena Atmeva Atmana Jitaha Atma Anatmanastu Shatrutve Vartetatmeva Shatruvat. Translation: for him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, the mind will remain the greatest enemy. So interestingly, this happens with um, some discussion on mind and how the same mind turns out to be a friend and or enemy. So, and we know that in today's world, a lot of people are now actively pursuing yoga, one or the other form of yoga. Mostly, a lot of people are doing hatha yoga or some ashtanga yoga, and some asanas, not knowing the detail. And so these programs are actually being taken by a lot of people, and they pay a hefty amount. Some benefit they get, maybe some gross or physical or some good state of mind. They feel happiness. But I mean, I don't know if they get into detail, but this mind actually, um, even me for a very long time, when I came to when I read Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad-gītā, before that, we didn't have a very clear understanding of what the mind is, and maybe we still don't. It still remains a mystery for a lot of even scientists. Although some claim that they're making progress, but our scriptures actually give perfect details. So as of now, we have heard that the gross body is made of five elements, material gross elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. And then there is a subtle body, Suksham Shari, which is mind, intelligence, ego. So these are like three subtle elements. So mind happens to be a very subtle element, more subtle than air. So for example, if to understand this, usually in picture we see that mind, when we see in a photo or in video, usually they point to a area of a head, a brain, emphasizing that this is mind. That's actually a very gross illustration. Mind happens to be a very subtle element. So if a doctor or anybody surgeon were to cut off the body, they will not be able to touch mind or intelligence or ego. These are very subtle, more subtle than air. So in the beginning, or somewhere, everybody has heard this famous phrase where Arjuna is, after being told by Lord Krishna, when Lord Krishna is telling him to control the mind, Arjuna is saying that to control the mind is even more difficult than a boat with a sail in a very heavy wind. So you can get this some idea. So mind is not something gross; it's very subtle. Although you can, in certain stages, indicate in a gross body that the part of the body where the mind would be from heart region or throat or forehead. So, but mind happens to be very subtle. You cannot touch it. You can experience the working of mind. So let's go ahead with this and see. This His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, who happens to he has written many books um, related to this subject. He gets into very technical scientific detail of these. So he is giving this explanation um, where he says that Lord Krishna is actually telling what is the main obstacle in coming to this. This chapter is related to Dhyana Yoga. And Lord Krishna is actually giving details of various yogas, and here he happens to be telling Arjuna about Dhyana Yoga. He's giving options. So this yoga stage is Ashtanga Yoga. So he talks about the mind. In fact, the whole process of yoga is largely centered on controlling the mind. And in the next few verses also talk about how we can come to this higher stage of yoga by controlling the mind. So, Udharet Atmana Atmanam. So here Atma is used several times, where Atma refers to the soul, and in some places Atma refers to the mind. So Atmana, the mind, Atmanam, the soul, Udharet means elevate, deliver to liberate. So this is what is being indicated here, that to elevate using the mind, deliver to get to the stage of liberation. So Dharet Atmana Atmanam, one delivers the soul by mind in such a way that the soul becomes elevated. So one delivers the soul by mind, and in such a way, if you use it well, the soul becomes elevated, liberated, or towards liberation. So, so, so it's and the next few words indicate that don't engage the mind in such a way that the soul becomes degraded. This is another thing which is possible. And what we have to do, Atmeva hi Atmanu Bandhu. First, Atma refers to the mind. So the mind is the friend, Bandhu or friend, and of Atmanu, the soul. So the mind is the friend of the soul. Or and Atmeva Ripur Atmanaha. The mind is the enemy of the soul. So in this way, Lord Krishna is giving us an idea, a holistic view here, how this works, what is involved in this purification. So he's saying that internally, so the mind is directed in such a way that the soul becomes liberated, not entangled. So there are two possibilities. One, the mind can act as an enemy of the soul, or the mind can act as a friend of the soul. Right? So in the context of this verse, the focus is on the yogis, because this is related to Dhyāna-yoga, who is trying to, a yogi is trying to renounce the world and focuses inwards, internally. So generally we see that if we are physically engaged in some gross activity or some physical engagement, the mind is also actually engaged. So this we have realized, right? So it is not necessary, but it is how it is conducive. So instead, if for example, if we sit at one place and not do anything physically, then what happens to the mind? Mind becomes idle. So here when we say, it means that we are not using mobile phones sitting in a place, watching YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, but actually sitting idle. I mean, not doing any physical engagement. So not using this mobile phone, which happens to be one of the most difficult things to do in the present time. So in the conditioned state, the mind is very connected to the body. That means where we are physically, that largely steers us into that direction mentally. So we are physically engaged in a sense object. The mind is also excited about that sense object. For example, if you are at a party or in a ceremony, or you're watching movie in a cinema or watching movie, then you are very engaged, right? Or you're playing game, uh, physical activity. So you're engaged, your mind is engaged. So mind is very excited. It takes you in more into that direction. And if you are physically removed from sense object, then the mind's excitement decreases, right? So for example, if you're watching a video on YouTube in mobile and your battery fades out, so you don't have to charge you. So your excitement fades off, right? So what can be done about it? So, however, as the mind is very captivated about the sense object, the mind may still be excited, but less proportionately, right? So, in a conditioned state, when we say conditioned state, we are saying that when the pure spirit soul takes this material gross body, and a subtle body is there, and in this material world, everything operates in three gunas: Rajogun, and Satogun, Rajogun, Tamagun. So, this is the conditioned state. So is this the condition state because we are now under the influence of the material energy, Maya. So you have, for example, you've gone out for shopping or a dress, for shopping for a dress or furniture. So you kind of get lost or involved in that activity as you're searching for that thing, that product. So you kind of get disengaged from rest of the working. So you're just focused on that activity. So where you are in a mall, so this is how it is. So wherever we are physically, we are also there mentally. So, so here it refers to the connection, two different connections. One is connection between mind and soul, another is connection between mind and body. So mind is the door to our consciousness. So here in this verse is talking about the connection between mind and the soul. The mind can act as a friend of the soul, and mind can act as an enemy of the soul. So So this is the connection between the mind and the soul. So how to understand this relationship, this working? So suppose, for example, if you are in a room and it has three doors, so um, and you happen to open a door and it shows a different pathway to the outer world. So the door of consciousness is the mind. So we perceive our external world or outer world, the working of this world through the mind. So this is how we perceive or experience. So two different people can feel or experience differently about the same place, same situation, about the situation or the same environment. So, for example, a materialistic person comes to a temple, and if the door of the mind opens to some materialistic things, such as how expensive the internal this architecture or decoration of the temple, or how expensive the floor is, and or it could be how good looking the members are there of the opposite gender, opposite sex. So, somebody can, if this is how your mind takes you in that direction, this is what you experience. So materialist doesn't see the deity, the beautiful deity, the world, how beautifully the deity is dressed. They just fold, maybe they just fold hands symbolically as a symbolic gesture, and maybe spend some time and leave. So, or the door of consciousness. So here, the door of consciousness is the mind. Since the mind is materialistic, they can only see materialistic things around. Or spirituality takes a backseat; it fades away in the background. So our mind is the door to our consciousness. So whatever level our mind is at, that level we are conscious of. So we see the relationship between the mind, soul, the consciousness, finding the cause of the supreme liberation. So in this verse, Lord Krishna is saying that the soul can become conscious of spiritual things, or the soul can become conscious of material things. When the soul is conscious of material things, the bond between the soul and the material things increases because of sense gratification. Because the desires are aroused, and those desires bind the soul to the body, and by the extension of this world, this material world, which results in further bondage with the material world, it contributes. And so this is how it's further contributing this to this individual's material existence. So he's adding, this is things are getting added to this material existence, his experience, his impressions in the mind. So in our mind, we focus on sense objects, then material desires arise in mind, right? And thus this leads to the binding of the soul. So again, you would want to experience, if you enjoy those experiences, if you like those sense objects, you would want to experience it again and again, or maybe even better than. So for instance, the door can be open inwards to the spiritual things like Lord Shri Krishna or the holy name, or things related to Lord Krishna, scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-gītā, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and many so many books you find in the temple. So it can be open to those material things like sense objects, mobile phones, watching YouTube, cinema, car, parties, etc. So hence, whichever way the door opens, that is where our consciousness will go. It will take us there and engage us, and we want to experience this more and more. So Lord Krishna is saying that we have this choice. We can focus our mind outward, open the door to external material environment, or open it to the world, that is to worldly objects, or we can focus on Sri Krishna or Lord Krishna, the spiritual, internal. And this is chapter is related to Dhyāna-yoga. So internally, focusing internally, inwards. So based on what we focus on, accordingly we get the results, right? So, so here, as of now, we have not been explained. The progression of Bhagavad-gītā is still not reached towards the spiritual reality, which has not been revealed. It will be revealed further later, because Arjuna happens to be asking questions, and Lord Krishna is further answering, and so the progression. So what is discussed as of now is that the material objects are the source of bondage, and one has to stay away from these. So what to stay away from? Some people will say withdraw away from material reality. That is the path of inaction. But Lord Shri Krishna is saying no, engage in material reality, but for the sake of purification. So here, Srila Prabhupada gives detail where he's talking about Amrita Bindu Upanishad, and he's saying here that don't let the mind fix on the sense object. Otherwise, we are getting more impure because we are experiencing these material sense objects for our own sense gratification. Once positive spiritual reality is disclosed, once the person is exposed to this positive spiritual reality, the better truth, the higher truth, or the higher trace, one can fix his mind on Lord Krishna. That is more direct. So when the mind is free from sense object, that time one becomes mukta, liberated. So here, His Grace Chaitanya Charitam Prabhu is telling about 3 C's to control the mind and get it back on track. The steering of 3 C's can be followed. So one is conscious, consistent, and the other is consistent, and third is cultivation. So conscious, be conscious where the mind is going right now. If we are unconscious, uh, we can get lost in our own thoughts. So, for example, if somebody is driving a car and car veers off track and it's a driver, it's a divider. So one not only car can get damaged, person can get injured also if we drop unconscious. So so this is something. This is an example to um, be conscious where the mind is going right now. Some people are busy using mobile phones while driving, watching YouTube or other things, WhatsApp. So these things, we need to be very conscious where the mind is taking us or where the mind is right now. So similarly, if we fall trapped to sense gratification, our intelligence will question us if we are conscious. This is how it works. Why did I do that? What did I do? So and then person can have realization, this is insane, what happened to me? So we have to be very conscious. Consistent, staying consistent equips us or helps us to fend off the attacks from the mind. So for example, if in a war, 2 soldiers, opposite party, if anybody, one of them is inattentive, inattention can spell doom. So we need so person needs to be attentive. We need to be conscious and consistent both. So this is what required. Inattention can be dangerous. So one needs to be consistent. So cultivation of Krishna consciousness helps to fix the mind on Sri Krishna. So we wonder how the same entity mind can act as a friend or it can act as an enemy. So next verse gets into detail. So where it says, so when the self is in control of the self, self is a friend. When the self is not in control of the self, self is the enemy of the self, right? So as we mentioned earlier, self, the soul, it's being used for soul, atma, self, or it is being used for mind also. So here, Prabhu says that what it actually means is that some acharyas have given referred to atma as self. So what it actually means here is that it refers to either the lower self and higher self. So the lower self is what we currently identify ourselves to be, and the higher self is what we actually are, which is we are spiritual. But when we designate ourselves or identify ourselves in the material body, and then it is lower self. Otherwise, spiritual self is higher self. So when we misidentify ourselves with body attachments, misconceptions, prejudices, and so all these things are lower self. So lower self drags us down, and the higher self it takes us or elevates us higher. So this is why where Srila Prabhupada says that mind is the enemy and the mind is the friend. When the mind is the controller, it can become the enemy. And when the mind is the control, then the mind turns out to be a friend. So, for example, if a person is riding a chariot driven by horses, and if the horse goes out of control, it will run helter-skelter here and there. The person riding the chariot may fall, but if the horses are controlled by the rider or the charioteer, then the horses are the means by which the charioteer can go fast into the place or destination he's going to. Otherwise, if he were to go on foot, it would take him very long. So when we are living in this material world, we need matter. We need this material body to act and interact in the material world. We need this mind and senses. We cannot do away without these mind and senses, but we can regulate them that is what Lord Krishna is talking about in this verse. So the constitutional position of the living entity, Srila Prabhupada says that the constitutional position of the living entity is to carry out the orders of the superior. So as long as the mind remains an unconquered enemy, one has to serve the dictations of the six enemies of the mind: lust, anger, greed, illusion, and envy, fear. But when the same mind is conquered, one voluntarily agrees to abide by the rules or dictation of the personality of God and Lord Krishna, who is situated within the heart of everyone as Paramatma, and he's guiding us. So if we decide to go in that direction, Lord will inspire us and guide us. So this is what Bhakti Yoga is, which will be told later, which is the easiest process by which we can move upwards. So yeah, so this is how it is. So we'll get more detail on Dhyāna-yoga. So how the mind is actually a friend and an enemy, how we use it, where we engage it. It can be a friend or it can be an enemy. Materially, if we are under the grip of the material sense gratification for our own sense gratification, it turns out to be our enemy. If we use it for spiritual purification and going in that spiritual direction, it is our friend. When we engage our senses and body and everything we have for the service of the Lord, that's a spiritual upliftment. So yeah. So thank you, Prabhuji Mataji. Thanks for joining and hearing these Bhagavad-gītā sloka recitation. Please continue, and we'll get more detail tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Sridhar Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So yeah, so we need to discuss these Prahlad Maharaja Katha and
sure. Yes, Prabhu. We can continue with the Narsimha prayers and then we will go for the Katha.
Okay. Okay, so Narsimha Deva prayers. Anybody would like to read this? Okay. So by this time, you should be familiar with these wonderful prayers, which will help us. If you've decided to be guided into the spiritual directions, these prayers will help us save us from material degradation and take us to spiritual direction, engagement. Okay. If nobody else would like to read, I'll read. I'll sing Narsimha prayers. Namaste Narasimhaya Pralad Lad Daine Hiranye Kasi Purvakshaha Chilatanka Nakalaye Yato Narsimha Parato Narsimo Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimha Mahi Narsimo Hridaye Narsimo Narsingamading Sharanam Prapade Kar Kamala Bare Nagam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hirane Kashipu Tanubringam Keshavadrita Narhari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jayo Narsinga Dev Jayo Narsinga Dev Jayo Narsinga Dev Jayo Narsinga Dev Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Jai Jai Shri Narsinga Prahlad Maharaj. Thank you, Prabhu.
We can do the Katha, Prabhu, Narsimha Katha.
Okay, Katha. So today will be okay. So I'll talk about that temple of Mahashetram, Matapalli Yoga Lakshmi Narsimha temple today. So we have been hearing these wonderful stories or kathas of these wonderful shrines, places, temples of Lord Narasimha Deva, Mata Lakshmi, and his pure devotee, Bhakt Prahlad Maharaj. So today it is about, and all these places happen to be in Andhra Pradesh, and Lord Narasimha Deva shrines, mostly, all these what is being discussed. So Matapalli Yoga Narasimha temple. So this shrine of Matapalli is located on the bank of the river, River Krishna in Huzur Nagar constituency in Suryapet district. And this river Krishna is flowing through this place. It is very deep and broad. And this temple happens to be 175 kilometers from this Hyderabad and 100 kilometers from Vijayawada. And this region, Matapalli, is still a jungle, dense region despite many developments. So the main deities of this temple are Sri Chenchu Lakshmi Thayar and Raja Lakshmi Thayar and the Prahlada Sahita Yogananda Lakshmi Narasimha Swami. This Lord Narasimha deity, this temple is carved. This Lord Narasimha deity in the temple is carved on a rock, which is 1 foot tall. So the Yoga Narasimha temple is one of the ancient Panchal Lakshmi Narasimha temples. The deity has a body of armor, kavacham made of silver, and has a mustache. And the face of this shrine is that of a fierce lion, as this incarnation of Lord Vishnu happens to be, Lord Narasimha Deva. To protect the devotees, it took this form, which is half man and half lion. This is what Hiranyakashipu had. He had asked as a boon, right? He had asked few things, and one he asked Lord Brahma that it should neither be day, night. It should not, if I die, or he didn't want to die, so he asked these things, thinking that he would not die. That it should not be day or night. It should not be in air or earth, and it should not be the weapon. It should not be sharp weapon or like that. So, and this Lord took this form, fulfilling all the demands, and this is what he did. So, this history of this temple. So, in Sthala Puran, it says that sage Bharadwaj was his disciple, and his disciples were worshipping Lord Narasimha Deva in the cave then. So, years had passed, and sage Bharadwaja had told the disciples that he could foresee that Lord would appear someday, when in future, when sins and injustice become the rule of life. So in Kali Yuga, during Kali Yuga, Lord appeared to a local follower named Machi Reddy in his dream, telling him where he lived. So Lord appeared in the dream of one Sri Anumala Machi Reddy, the king of Thangoda. So this place, which is few kilometers from away from Matapalli on the bank of River Krishna. So in dream, Lord told him of his presence in the Matapalli cave and ordered to perform pujas there. So the history of the temple is dated some time back in 13th century. This king immediately ordered his men to find out this cave. And they did their best. They tried digging, searching, and they could not find it. Tired and frustrated, the king fell asleep in the jungle. Lord again appeared in his dream and said to him that he was almost closing in the place where this deity is, where he is, where Lord Narasimha Deva is. And the cave was covered by plants and bushes. So Lord is guiding him again in his dream. So the king again got his enthusiasm. He was very happy to discover. He went into that, what the Lord told him, and he was very happy to discover the Lord in the cave. And he installed the Lord's deity there. So the Lord instructed Machireri that his above could be identified as a tree, the Veda Patri, and the Lord instructed Machireri to open up the cave so that other devotees, so he should open it to public. The public could also worship him and they could benefit. So he constructed a very convenient pathway to that enable devotees to worship him. So as it is very dense area, jungle, and it's a cave, so he did all this construction. So make it convenient via the pathway. So the interior of the cave, the idol of the Lord sits beneath the sanctuary of the hooded cranium of Sheshanag, and it is beautifully decorated. So it is believed from time when the cave into this deity came into existence, it is believed by the followers of the Lord, the worshippers of the Lord, and people who visit this temple and worship the deities. One, there's certain belief that one can cure any incurable disease, right? Oh, so you can see the picture in the Prabhu has shared this photo. So the other is it can ward off all evil spirits. And the third is if the devotee of the Lord, yeah, there you have all the pictures. So the Krishna, River Krishna, and so you see there's a dense forest, and this is where the temple is. Beautiful. And the third is the devotee of the Lord lives in this shrine of Matapalli for a period of 11 days and 11 nights. And then the devotee also engages in 3 pradakshinas, circumambulations in a day. wearing the same wet clothes. So after taking dip in the Krishna river, which is a holy river, and the Lord Yogananda Lakshmi Narasimha Swami will fulfill all his wishes of the devotee follower, sincere devotee. So it is said that another important feature is the possession of a very rare type of conch by the temple called Dakshina Vrithata Shankha. So this shank, this conch, it happens to be, so if you keep it near your ear, you can hear a booming sound of the sacred pranava. So pranava is Om. So you can hear the booming sound of that. If you keep it near your ear, also called taram. So this sound echoes out of that. Okay, it is a beautiful picture. River flowing through this dense area near the temple on the bank. There is a temple. So it is said that this type of conch is present only at Kashi temple. So this is how it is, and devotees are actually cautioned that they should use, if they are visiting, they should go only to the permitted part of the Krishna river, which has its steps, because the river actually has crocodiles, as it is in this dense area. It is very deep. So this is how it is. So if anybody is visiting, you need to be very cautious of this thing. So Lord Narasimha ki jai, Mata Lakshmi ki jai, Bhakt Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. So thank you, Prabhu. Thanks for sharing these beautiful photos. So I think we are to today is the it's Srimad Bhagavatam 7th canto 9th chapter 55th verse. So this happens to be the last verse of this chapter where Bhakt Prahlad Maharaj, pure devotee of Lord, is being glorified. So Sri Narada Uvacha एवं प्रलोभ्यमानो अपि वरे लोका प्रलोभने एकांतिवाद भगवती नैच्छतान असुरोत्तमः. So Narada Muni said, Prahlad Maharaja was the best person in the family of Asuras who always aspired for material happiness. Nonetheless, although allured by the Supreme Personality of Godhead who offered him all the benedictions for material happiness, because of his unalloyed Krishna consciousness, Prahlad Maharaja, he did not want to take any material benefit for his sense gratification. So this chapter was about glorification of good qualities, glorification of Bhakt Prahlad Maharaj, who is a pure devotee. So when later, so we have heard that, so when Lord, after killing Lord Narasimha, after killing this demon Asura, Hiranyakashipu, was still in so much anger, and nobody could pacify him. Not Mother Lakshmi, not Lord Brahma, no demigods. Everybody was so afraid of going near him, and only Bhakt Prahlad Maharaj was fearless. Throughout all situations, all the atrocities, what demon, his Asura father tried to do so many harmful things, tried to kill him so many times, throw him from a mountain, crush him under the feet of elephant, throw him into a river, throw him from a mountain, burn him, poison him, snakes and all those things. But he was fearless because he was always thinking of Lord. As a child, he was preaching all good qualities to his schoolmates in the demonic school of the Asuras, where Hiranyakashipu told the instructors, the teachers, to teach him all those Asura things, make him believe that Hiranyakashipu is the God, and whereas Prahlad Maharaj got all his training while he was still in the womb of his mother. His mother was under the protection of Narada Muni, and Narada Muni was telling him scriptural instructions to his mother, Prahlad Maharaja. So Prahlad Maharaja happens to hear all the scriptural instructions in the womb of his mother. So his teacher, his guru was who? But Lord Narada Muni, who is very dear to Lord Krishna. So he gave him, through these instructions, from the very childhood, he was practicing Krishna consciousness, preaching to his Asura classmates, even making him devotees. So these are all the qualities of Bhakt Prahlad Maharaj. Such a wonderful devotee from very childhood. So devotee is very dear to Lord. And Bhakt Prahlad Maharaj happens to be pure devotee. He was very Krishna conscious throughout. He did so in the end also. When he is being Lord is very pleased with Bhakt Prahlad Maharaj. And he says, I want to bless you. Ask me any benediction. Bhakt Prahlad Maharaj knew very well, because he's being trained by Narad Muni, that this material world binds us. And he's not asking, because he knows that material sense gratification binds us to this material world. One falls down further into degradation, and gets very difficult to uplift and come to the spiritual reality, the spiritual Krishna consciousness. So he didn't ask all these things. He didn't want his own material sense gratification. He wanted to do his unalloyed Krishna consciousness. He wanted to preach this Krishna consciousness to others. And he didn't want to leave this world. He wanted to make others also Krishna conscious. So the Lord was very pleased with him. So Srila Prabhupada gives some detail. So the pure devotee don't ask for material benefits. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says that na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagat isha kamaye mam janmani janmanishvare bhavata bhaktir ahituki tvai. So Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared 500 years back in Kali Yuga, to bestow his mercy on these grossly materially conditioned people of Kali Yuga. He bestowed his mercy. So he is saying, who is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna himself. I do not pray for benedictions by which to achieve material wealth, popularity, or beauty. My only desire is to serve you. Kindly engage me in the service of the servant of your servant. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching as a disciple, as a guru, the best way in Kali Yuga. So this is what Prahlad Maharaj did, and because he's trained by it, even though he is born in demonic Asura family, still he is one of the best pure devotees. And so we should so so there are various stages of devotion, and Prahlad Maharaj is a pure devotee, and so people in this material world are always hankering for this dharma, artha, kama, moksha, religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, moksha. And the platform of dharma is to become very religious and moral. And Srila Prabhupada says, who is the best example of moralist? Who's the best moralist? Who can be more moralist than a devotee of the Lord? Because a devotee is not prepared to kill even an ant. So who can be more moralist than him? So Bhakt Prahlad Maharaj was not disturbed by any torturous things being done to him. He was steadfast in bhakti, and he was steadfast in preaching. He was in Krishna's service all the while, always thinking of Krishna. He was telling others to use everything, senses and material, whatever you have got, use it for Krishna's service. Otherwise, it's your own personal sense gratification, and you can degrade yourself. But if you use everything for the service of the Lord, then you can uplift yourself. And this is what the real purpose is, to use everything in the service of the Lord. Whatever it is, your body, senses, anything material. So Bhakt Prahlad Maharaj happened to be initiated by Narad Muni himself, and he was empowered by his guru. So Bhakt Prahlad Maharaj was not deluded by any material profit, and Lord, his desire was to become preach Krishna consciousness, become a devotee of the Lord. And this is what he did. So this is the glory of Bhakt Prahlad Maharaj. So this is the last verse of this chapter. So thank you, Prabhuji Mataji. Thanks for joining. If anybody has any questions, you may ask. Okay, yeah. So we have to sing this prayer. Anybody would like to sing this prayer? Beautiful prayer.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, may I?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Please, yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvatomukham Narsingham Bhishnam Bhadram Mrityur Namamyaham. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvatomukham Narsingham Bhishnam Bhadram Mrityur Namamyaham. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvatomukham Narsingham Bhishnam Bhadram Mrityur Namamyaham. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvatomukham नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युर्मृत्युं नमाम्यहम् उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युर्मृत्युं नमाम्यहम् उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युर्मृत्युं नमाम्यहम् उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युर्मृत्युं नमाम्यहम् उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युर्मृत्युं नमाम्यहम् उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युर्मृत्युं नमाम्यहम् उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युर्मृत्युं नमाम्यहम् उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युर्मृत्युं नमाम्यहम्। हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you everyone. Dandavat Pranam. So if anybody has questions, please ask, else we will log off for the day. Okay, looks like nobody has any questions.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Dhanavad Pranam, Steven. Thank you so much for the class. And so today is the last day for Narsimha Bhakti Vigna Vinash program. So thank you very much, devotees. I hope it was useful for you. Okay, let me see. Mataji is showing something here. Just see.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to show this tulsi.
Yes,
If you
sure.
want tulsi plant to grow bushy like this, you'll have
Are you on mute? Can you unmute yourself? Can you please unmute yourself? Sorry.
yes, Prabhuji. In case you want the tulsi to grow like this, you'll have to cut the flowers, on top. This, just remove this every day. The flower. You remove this part every day. This, my Mataji showed it to me. This flower, if you remove, it grows bushy like this. Lots. Or else the tulsi will be very thin like this. It will be very thin. So, if you want your tulsi to grow, you can, cut the flowers on top. So it will grow like this. I have so many tulsi set.
Okay. Thank you.
Even I didn't know,
Yes.
Mataji told me. I thought I'll just share this. That's all. Hare Krishna.
Sure. Welcome. Thank you very much.
Mataji.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, perhaps. Hare Krishna. So let me thank everybody, all the devotees, for participating enthusiastically in this program, this Bhakti Vigna Vinasha program. So the idea of this program was that, to remove the obstacles in our devotional lives. So that was the idea of the program. And let me share my screen. And this was the idea, that we chant at least 8 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every single day and perform Tulsi Aarti. So a lot of you have actually shown interest in this program, and you have actually done the streak successfully. So first of all, I would like to ask how many of you were able to do it. Type me in the chat if you were able to complete this 30 days without any miss. Type me in the chat. Let's see who all have done that. Yes. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so Sonal Thakkar Mataji, Hari Bol. Okay, we'll chant for all of them. Okay. So first for Sonal Thakkar Mataji, we'll chant for her. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, and then Siddhi Mataji, 28 days. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, 2 days just missed, but not bad, still very good.
I was in
Manisha
a program.
Mataji. Yes.
Kirtan program.
What, Mataji?
I was in a Kirtan program, but I could not.
You are in a Kirtan program. That's the reason why you cannot do it. But still, yeah, 28, very, very close. Manisha Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Komala Mataji, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Indra Haridas Mataji, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I want all of you to chant loudly for all the devotees, please.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama,
Rubinath
Hare
Mataji,
Hare.
Rubinath Mataji. Let's chant for Rubinath Mataji.
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare.
Let's all chant for Premai Kunti Mataji, and her
Hare
husband.
Krishna.
Her husband is in the hospital from a long time, in the ICU. So let us all pray. Chant 3 times Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for Premai Kunti Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, Sonal Mataji, you wanted to say something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, I would like to say,
Sure.
Prabhuji, my 13-year-old daughter, along with me, she even participated in this sadhana. So I request everyone to please pray for her also.
Sure. What's her name?
Simaya.
Simaya. Let's all pray for Simaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. So nice. It's very, very nice. Thank you, Mataji. That's very nice. And so let us all pray that all our devotional lives go very smoothly without any obstacles, and we go back to home, back to Godhead, attain the pure love of Radha and Krishna. So that's our goal of life, right? So this is so amazing. Very happy to hear all of this. And yeah, so that's about it, devotees. So we have had the last 31 days. We have heard every single day. We have heard different stories of Lord Narasimha, and we have visited different powerful, wonderful, ancient temples of Lord Narasimha. So you see, some of these temples were Swayambhu, self-manifested. Some of the temples were installed by Lord Brahma. Some of them were like, Lord himself appeared on those places, right? And very wonderful stories, and very wonderfully narrated by all the teachers. So can we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for all the teachers who have done a very wonderful job in reading these stories, okay, narrating all these stories. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's nice. So we did Narasimha Leela, and then we also did Narasimharti, Narasimha Katha, and then we did Srimad Bhagavatam, that is Prahlad Maharaj prayers, canto number 7, chapter number 9. We saw how wonderful these prayers were, right? Such philosophical depth and so much of devotion, right? So philosophy and devotion to the highest possible extent, and practical instructions by Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj is an ideal devotee of Lord. You see, Lord himself is saying that, Prahlad, you are an ideal devotee, and everybody must follow your footsteps. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has read this Prahlad Katha 300 times. How many times? 300 times. 300 times. So, you see, by reading this Prahlad Katha, we get faith in Krishna consciousness. Because Krishna consciousness is transcendental faith. Transcendental faith means, see, it's very easy to get faith in, for example, making money. That's very easy to get faith. I mean, we can see that in front of us. It's very easy to get faith in maybe sense gratification. It's very easy. We can see that. But religious principles, spirituality is something very subtle. Right? It's at a very spiritual level. It's not even at mental or emotional level. It's just a spiritual level. It's a transformation experience that one has to themselves undergo. It's not possible that we can give a big class about what is the benefit of Krishna consciousness. We can give many hours of classes, but then unless you experience it yourself, just like that sugar cane, I can go on describing that sugar cane is like this. It looks like a bamboo stick. It's very tall. It's like this. And then when you bite, it's going to be sweet. So we can keep on talking about it forever, but unless you bite it, you won't know what's the taste of sugar cane. So Krishna consciousness is like that. So this was a humble attempt for encouraging you to take up some steps in Krishna consciousness so that you can progressively improve yourself and taste the happiness of Krishna consciousness. So that's what our Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapatak Maharaj, keeps saying, that I would like all the devotees to experience the bliss of Krishna consciousness. So he says to the teachers that please give them that bliss of Krishna consciousness. Let them experience it. Then they will know that this is something out of this material world. This is not from this world. This is from the spiritual world. You see? So finally, let us do one thing. Let us dedicate all of this program, okay, to His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, right, who is the wonderful warrior of Srila Prabhupada. He's a warrior in the army of Srila Prabhupada, and he's fighting till date. He is battling with so many health issues, but at the same time, he never gives up. So he is like Prahlad Maharaj, right? How Prahlad Maharaj has seen so many difficulties, so many obstacles, but he never gave up. He never gave up bhakti. So, and our Guru Maharaj, he has undergone so much. And recently in the last 2 months, it was such a low point in his health. But still, he has more or less recovered now. And he was on dialysis for a long time. Now, they're planning to discharge him. I think the latest news was they were planning to discharge him yesterday or today. He's going to be discharged. Once he's discharged, in another 2-3 days, he'll go back to Mayapur. So it's a practical example. Prahlad Maharaj, we saw story. Here is practical example. The longest standing sannyasi of ISKCON, right? Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. So wonderfully, he shows with practical example how to be doing our devotional service. So he's a inspiration for all of us. He's inspiration for the entire ISKCON community, and he's inspiration for the entire humankind. But how we must have transcendental faith in Krishna, and we must just go on following the instructions of the spiritual master, and then the ultimate success of attaining the love of Godhead will be ours. Okay, so let us all loudly chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times for His Holiness Jayapatak Maharaj and dedicate all of this program to his good health. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. So last but not the least, I would like to thank all of you, all the devotees who have consistently come for this program every single day. You have logged in to this program and you have attended it and you have viewed this very attentively. You've heard it. So let us all chant one time Hare Krishna Mantra for all of you, so that all the obstacles in your devotional life are completely cleared and you become the pure devotees of Lord Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Right, wonderful. So thank you, devotees. So please keep joining. So what is the next program, or what is the next thing that we are supposed to be doing? Let me give you some couple of announcements. So like I said, so we are doing the Panihati on Sunday. We are going for Panihati program. It is a spiritual picnic. Panihati Chira Dahi. It's a wonderful festival. Maybe sometime we should give a katha on that. It's a very, very beautiful pastime of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda Prabhu. How beautifully Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reciprocated with Raghunath Das Goswami. It's a very, very wonderful story. Maybe sometime we will discuss that. So Panihati, we are going to have Panihati and Snana Yatra this Sunday, that is day after tomorrow. So we are all ready for that. All the registrations done, all the buses ready, and there'll be like some 20-30 buses all over Bangalore. and they will be taking from different places to the banks of river Kaveri near Srirangapatna, and we will assemble there. We will do kirtan in a large scale, thousands of people, thousands of devotees assembled there. Then we'll do the kirtan, we will do katha, we will do drama, and then also we will do the abhishekam, snana yatra and abhishekam. We will also bath the Lord, we will do abhishekam, and lordships will be taken inside the river, and we will be following after the Lord baths. We also go inside the river and we'll take a bath, and it's a very wonderful experience. So that's about Panihati. After Panihati, what? After Panihati, July 7th, we will have the Ratha Yatra. I think that's the date. So July 7th is the planned Ratha Yatra date. Maybe the date, if it changes, I will let you know. That's the plan. So Ratha Yatra will be for there. Next festival is Ratha Yatra. So I would request all of you to please participate in this Ratha Yatra. Ratha Yatra is very special because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he comes out of the temple only on Ratha Yatra. You see, every time we have to go to the temple, Lord comes out to give darshan to everybody. And it's a wonderful opportunity for us to pull the Ratha. You have to pull the chariot. And anybody who pulls the chariot of Jagannath, it is said in the Shastra that they will go back to Godhead. That is guaranteed. So let us take this opportunity for Ratha Yatra, and we will all participate in the Ratha Yatra. And we will also have some wonderful pastimes of this Jagannath pastimes. Lord Sri Jagannath, we know Purushottama Kshetra, Lord Jagannath Puri. Very wonderful, filled with very amazing stories. We'll try to have some camp on Ratha Yatra camp, and we will hear some wonderful, wonderful stories of the devotees of Jagannath Puri. Okay, we will hear some wonderful importance and the pastimes that happened, and what are some of the wonders that happen in the Jagannath Puri temple. So we'll try to hear all of this, and we will elevate our mood, okay, to devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, that's going to be following. So I request all of you to please keep joining every single day for the morning program. This program will be continuing Bhagavad-gītā every day morning. So morning you can join for Bhagavad-gītā reading, 6:45 a.m. to 7:30. So every day we are doing some shlokas. We are right now in the chapter number 6, and we'll continue till chapter number 18. And it's very important because every time we are learning something new. Am I right? We are learning every time we are learning something new. Every shloka has got something to offer. The more we hear, the more we like to hear. So please keep coming for this program, morning program. Okay. So yes, and we will be continuing our programs. If there is any other programs, special programs, I will let you know. Okay. So please be in touch. Please keep coming to the classes. So if there is anybody who wants to share their story or share your realization of the last 30 days, I'm opening the forum for all of you to speak. Yes, Hare Krishna. Anybody would like to speak, share their experience? Yes, maybe we'll ask the devotees who have done this.
So many changes happened that I cannot speak now. And I was just thinking what happened, when devotee circle only. And, everything is cleared off now. I don't know. I just think, I don't know, this 30 days, what a big difference.
Wonderful.
And whatever differences were there, I don't know. Sometimes I feel, are they also attending these classes? So I don't know, such a big difference, which I cannot share. It's a big story here. But it was very much helpful for me. Everything got erased. Hare Krishna.
Jai. That's the wonderful power of devotional service. Yes, thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes. Anybody wants to share? Who has got a nice share? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, this mission was actually made me, to wake up early. No, at least for doing this, I had this thing to wake up. I was attending a Mangla Arati, watching Mayapur YouTube. And then later I used to do it, normal puja rituals that I do. I wanted really only during the monthly cycle that I was not doing it manually, but attended all the Mangla Arati, that thing, Prabhuji. So yes, definitely it has changed a lot of my perspective, and my devotion has also increased. There's definitely progress in my daily activities and also. So thank you very much, Prabhuji, for giving us this opportunity. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Nice, Mataji. What's a wonderful share. Okay. So type Hare Krishna in the chat for Siddhi Mataji and Komala Mataji for their wonderful share. Type Hare Krishna for both of them. Right? Very nice. Wonderful. Amazing. Amazing. Wonderful share. Wonderful share. Yes. So what is important here is, devotees, like what I want to say is, please try to continue. Keep up that schedule. Don't slacken up. Just keep up this schedule. Okay. This is like, you got a chance. Now just stick to the standard. Okay. That's very easy. Once you come to that, it's very difficult to come to the standards. I understand. Once you come to that, try to just maintain that standard. It'll be easy. It'll be very easy to continue. It's difficult to start something new, right? Okay. So let's hear some more stories. Okay. Anybody wants to share? Who wants to share?
For me, it is like, I don't know whether I'll be able to attend a daily class. The very fact that I could attend these 30 days is a miracle, Prabhuji.
Amazing.
All your mercy, Prabhuji, all your mercy, and Prabhupada and Krishna. Maybe I've not been able to do much, but the very fact that I could sit and listen for 1 or 2 classes, I dozed off. But most of the classes I could pay attention and did experience the bliss. So I'm so thankful and grateful for being for in fact you holding us and taking us along with you, Prabhuji. I'm extremely grateful to all of you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kalyani Mataji. So Kalyani Mataji is battling with a lot of health issues, and so let's all pray for Mataji. So Mataji has very wonderfully demonstrated how we must do devotional service. I mean, it's not easy for anybody to be in her position and do devotional service. So let us all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for her, so that her health improves. So let's that's my request. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much, Mataji. Anybody else wants to go before we close? Last.
And Hare Krishna, Prabhuji,
Yes.
myself, some 6 years before, we had come to Rath Yatra, and my neighbor, somehow we didn't get, but we reached there. And there, 6 years before, one Prabhuji told one more Mataji to add me in the group. So from that day onwards, till today, I get all up-to-date information, festivals, Ekadashis, all details. It was just attending a Rath Yatra which made a big difference. So once, when a person is added in the group, he himself will learn everything. So that happened to me on a Rath Yatra day. So I was included some 7 years before. So when you spoke about Rath Yatra, I thought, let me just share this. It was on a Rath Yatra day that Jagannath put me in his group. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for sharing. Indra Haridas Mataji, you wanted to say something? You have something to share?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Okay. Welcome, Mataji. Okay. Thank you, devotees. Again, we'll see you tomorrow and we'll continue with our daily program, Bhagavad-gītā, as it is. That is Gita program as usual. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat. Hare